The first time I saw her fingers in my bag, she thought I hadn't noticed. She waited until the shower ran, until steam filled the house like a curtain. But my life has been built on watching patterns others miss. The angle of her shoulder when she bent, the pause in her breath when she touched something that wasn't hers. I didn't speak. I didn't move. I simply filed it away, the way I always do. Because the truth never arrives in loud crashes, it leaks in, slow and poisonous. That night I created bait. One card, registered to a shell account, loaded with $57,000. Nothing real, nothing traceable back to me. Just temptation with teeth. The next morning, I woke to silence. My bag zipped differently, the card missing. And then, hours later, the alerts came. A chain of charges, luxury hotels, spa treatments, flights to London, 2 tickets. She returned a week later, smelling of champagne and borrowed freedom. She kissed my cheek, dropped her suitcase and said with a smirk, "Loved the spa trip." I smiled back, but I was already laughing inside. Because the card she used wasn't just bait, it was evidence. Infidelity is predictable. Money is not. Money leaves trails, records, shadows. It was never her body I mistrusted. It was her silence. She had been distant for months. The late nights with vague explanations, the sudden interest in fitness, in clothing meant for someone else's gaze, the way her laughter shifted, higher, nervous, rehearsed. I didn't accuse. Accusations are for men who need confirmation. I wanted proof. Proof that cut deeper than denial could patch. The card gave me more than proof. It gave me a map. London wasn't business, wasn't chance. It was her destination with him, the lover who had replaced me without ever stepping into my home. When she bragged about the spa, her eyes searched mine for suspicion. She expected anger. She expected me to break. But I didn't. I let her words hang in the air like smoke. I nodded, murmured something about being glad she had fun. Inside, the betrayal stopped being emotional. It became procedural, a breach to be documented, an intruder to be exposed. I spent the week digging. Hotel bookings, flight manifests, transaction logs, all tied back to the card, all tied back to her. He had paid nothing. Every expense was hers, or rather, mine. She thought the digital world was invisible, that numbers could be hidden in silence. But data speaks louder than voices. While she slept, I traced the lines of her betrayal. I found their spa appointments, their dinners, even the champagne they shared, $600 for a bottle she wouldn't recognize if she saw it again. I moved through the days calm, detached. To her, I was distant. To the outside world, I was the same. But inside, a storm built itself, brick by brick, into something colder than rage. Rage is noise. I've never needed noise. The confrontation came over breakfast. Not dramatic, not loud. I set a stack of printed statements on the table beside her coffee. She frowned, flipped through them, her face drained. This isn't 2 tickets, I said. My voice was calm. Too calm. London, spa hotels, suites. You spent $48,700. Her lips trembled. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. It's not what you think. I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because lies sound absurd when truth is already on the table. Her hands shook. How did you know? I leaned back, met her eyes. I've always known. Her face cracked then. Tears, panic, shame, all at once. She reached for me like contact could undo exposure. I didn't move. I didn't shout. I didn't curse. My revenge had already been written. The bait card wasn't just loaded with fake funds. It was monitored. Every transaction reported. Every charge logged to an immutable record. and every record had already been forwarded to her employer, to our shared accounts, to the divorce attorney I'd retained weeks before. By the time she realized, her job was already gone. The accounts she thought were hers, frozen. The trip she bragged about, evidence of fraud. She sat at the kitchen table, sobbing. "You ruined me," she whispered. I corrected her silently. "No, you ruined yourself. I just let the world see it." She left with nothing but the stench of her own downfall clinging to her. I didn't watch her go. I didn't need to. When the door closed, the house grew quiet again. Not empty, just clean. I poured myself a coffee, sat in the silence, and felt the weight lift. No triumph, no victory, just clarity. For years, she thought betrayal was power. But betrayal is fragile. It only takes light to break it. And I've spent my life knowing where to shine the beam. Final line, she thought she was stealing from me. I was only waiting for her to hand me the knife.